I'm telling you what I hear over and over again in my office. It's this. I have people coming in who have hormone levels or hormone trouble, and they don't know what to do about it. I'm glad you're listening today, if that's you, because my next guest is Dr. Kelly Miller. Dr. Miller, thank you, my friend, for being here.
Glad to be here.
So we're dealing with this thing, and I think it's becoming more and more prevalent.
It is. In fact, in the last 3 decades, they've done studies on men, average men, healthy men, and each decade, their testosterone level has dropped every 10 years.
Wow.
And in women, we see the onset used to be 51.5 years for menopause, the cessation of a menstrual cycle, and now that's rolling back. So definitely our hormones are getting at lower levels.
So we're doing something wrong.
Yes, we are. Our hormones are kind of a reaction to stress. You know, what we eat, what we drink, how we rest, how we exercise, what we breathe, what we think. So our hormones, especially our adrenal glands, try to compensate for all those things. And when they can't anymore, they begin to fatigue.
Now, I think it's interesting because you brought up men and women, because I think as a rule, most people think of hormone trouble, automatically they go to the woman and think, oh yeah, she's really got some problems. But it's men and women who have these problems.
Absolutely. Menopause is well known, but actually there's something called andropause that we men go through. And it happens pretty much the same timeline as women.
They go through, not me. I wouldn't.
No, yeah, you're good. But they happen. It's not so overt, but it happens a lot. And there's many different signs of that in men. You know, men and women both will start putting a little more weight around the middle, skin a little drier. You know, there's just kind of a shift, though. That's a little less muscle mass, but also your thinking. You know, you kind of go. You're a very positive guy, and we talked about this earlier. And as we've gone through, we've been doing this for 30-something years. That you know, you're always been an enthusiastic, glass half full, and you know, it's like you know, things aren't, you don't quite have that enthusiasm anymore. So that's related to hormone function as well. You
start losing some interest in life and things around you.
Yeah, just your initiative, and you see things as a challenge. I always thought as an opportunity versus, you know, you're thinking, oh, another stressor. And of course, the biggest thing in the news or media today about men is erectile dysfunction. So that's why a lot of guys are going into and they're getting the androgel and different synthetic hormones, which are all under a class action.
So what's wrong with the synthetic?
Well, the synthetic, we should have learned from women. It's interesting, it didn't take them to figure out, but maybe a few years for women. Women were actually getting synthetic hormones since the 1930s. So it was only just a few years ago that the overwhelming evidence came that the synthetic hormones did not respond the same in the body as our natural hormones, and they actually increased our risk for stroke, heart attack, blood clots, which you're seeing the same thing with men now.
Yeah.
And the other thing it did, it increased their risk for breast, uterine, and ovarian cancer.
So they were just throwing something in there that really was foreign to the body.
It's exactly what it is, because to make a drug, a lot of drugs come from natural botanical sources, but they have to tweak it. They can't patent it, so they have to change that molecular structure. So our hormones are kind of a lock and key. They're by design, and the synthetic may stimulate some of those receptor sites, but we have them in their brain. You got them in your skin. You got them in your bone. You got them in your muscle, your digestive tract. You got them everywhere. So they don't activate all of them like our normal hormone does. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like if you had an office building that had all these plugs. Those are like all these receptor sites in your body. You know, it's this huge building, and then your people who order your supplies got everything from Europe, and they come in. You get those plugs. You ever been on the cruise ships or you know, these weird plugs? And you got maybe 3 or 4 converters, so a few of the things will work, but overall it doesn't respond. It's not designed.
So they're taking things thinking that they're taking care of it, but it really is not.
No, it's not. And in fact, it doesn't. like I said, it will activate the one thing that synthetic estrogen do, the only positive will, it will help bone density. But if you can take this same bioidentical, which is made from a plant source, yams, it's exactly like your body makes it. So you're just supplementing it.
Yeah.
You're just bringing the body back to a more youthful state of hormone levels. So it's a physiological dosage, not a supraphysiological dose. So it's something the body is used to seeing, and then it responds accordingly. Then the bone density is better, then the muscle mass is better, then the thinking process is better, the skin is better.
So, I mean, as we look, I'm just sitting here looking through history, we're seeing this increase in breast cancer and all these different cancers. Is it because we've been kind of messing around with some stuff that maybe shouldn't have been messed around with, or we did it wrong?
Well, we have increased, in this country, we have the highest cancer rates anywhere in the world. So there's lots of things we do. There's more, there's 1,000, tens of thousands of chemicals that weren't even in existence, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
There's more all the time. Again, these are extraterrestrial proteins, and we're not designed for it, so they accumulate. The different toxins, there's mercury toxin, because we have fillings and all kinds of different ways we can get that, but a lot of these things create problems.
High fructose corn syrup, I heard, is huge with mercury.
Yes, because it comes from corn, and the corn is, and again, the other problem with corn is it's a GMO food.
Wow.
They actually, with corn, they made a insecticide inside the DNA of a corn. Did you know that?
Wow.
It's unbelievable. And we're the only country in the world that allows their people to ingest this because it's never been tested.
Yikes. So we got some major problems on our hands and some challenges ahead, but I think you got some answers for us. Is that right?
I think so.
Don't change your channel, because we've got some answers to some of the stuff you've been dealing with. We'll be right back. All right, so you're suffering, you're dealing with this problem, and you think you're all alone. I'm telling you, you're not. I'm with Dr. Kelly Miller. Dr. Miller, we talk about the deficiencies of hormones or hormones out of balance. What would bring a person into the office? What kind of symptoms would they have?
Well, women, most common, hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, anxiety, depression, increased weight gain, insomnia, things like that. Men, again, putting more belly fat around the middle, loss of libido, erectile dysfunction, loss of muscle tone, loss of initiative, again, same depression.
No, so I'm just kind of going down a rabbit trail here, but as I'm thinking in my mind, as these hormone levels change, sometimes there's a change in even the marriage at that point where we lose interest or something happens at that point. Is that a correlation?
I think there is. It's amazing when you hit around, we'll say 50 as a target, when you a little before or after, that not only that, there is a problem with marriage because of that. There's a lot of divorces that occur in that, and a lot of it has to do with the changes in their hormonals. They no longer are attractive. The woman particularly, they become disinterested in their husband. They don't want to touch him. The other thing that's amazing that happens is how many menopausal women are placed on anxiety or depressive medication.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, it's just because they don't have a Prozac deficiency, they have a progesterone deficiency.
And so a person comes into the office, you sit down with a consultation with them, talk about what's going on. Testing, what do you do?
Well, there's three ways to test. You can do it through the blood, through the urine, or through the saliva. We prefer the saliva, and the reason is because it's the most convenient, but the other reason is our hormones fluctuate every 2 or 3 hours. In a 24-hour period, our men's testosterone could fluctuate 800% and a woman's estrogen 400%. So depending on when point in the day, where did I get that blood draw? You're just seeing like a snapshot in a movie, and you're trying to figure out the whole story. So the saliva is taken 5 times during the day, so we catch all those peaks and valleys. We have a much better understanding of the big picture.
Wow. So then you get this report back that says, this is out, this is out, this is out. What do you do about it? And I'm telling you, that's probably in the average office where it stops. Well, you got this problem. Nice to, you know, if you have any problems, give me a call.
Well, medically, they may do some synthetics, but again, we've determined that's not the best answer because there's too many side effects. You know, anytime you take a medication, there has to be a risk-benefit weighed in there. So if we look at that, then we look at trying to replace and get the bioidentical. One of the things that is totally missed in this area is the excess estrone production that happens at this time that women produce and we as men produce. Our testosterone is being converted into estrogen forms. And estrogens, it has to go to, for a body to get rid of it, it has to be converted to a form of estrogen called estrone. And those metabolites, 2 of the 3, are carcinogenic.
Wow.
So we want to make sure that we're supplementing ourselves and dietarily cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and kale help facilitate that. But we can also take a supplement that has something called DIM in it, the carbinol, and that will help facilitate that. So we want to protect our tissue from too much estrogen. Men have estrogen receptors in the prostate and testes. So that's one of the reasons why, as men age, they become, it's not because they don't have enough testosterone, it's because they have too much estrogen that they're getting prostate cancer.
Wow. So a person could do all their, go on Google and do all this stuff and try to figure this all out. But I'm telling you, because I've been talking to this guy here for some time, you pretty much have got a lot of it figured out and can just plug somebody right into, here's your answer. Right.
Well, I know, you know, I only know as much as our technology knows today. But yeah, we can do different things. The great thing about it, I prefer, there's different ways that we can do this. You can do it orally. You know, men can get injections of testosterone. You can take oral supplementation of DHEA or pregnenolone. But I prefer the transdermal, and the reason is because our digestion is so variable. You know, we only get about 5 or 10% of what something goes down our mouth, you know, be a nutrient or drug or whatever, absorbing into our GI tract. And that's a big variant. That's 100%.
Oh, that's huge.
In a dosage, that's 100% variance. So if you take something, are you getting 5% or 10% of it? Because you only need 5, you're getting 10, you're overdosing. And now then, it's in my bloodstream, and my hypothalamus, which is our internal monitor, says, whoa, this is too much hormone. We're not designed for this. And it'll talk to your liver, and your liver starts producing something called sex hormone binding globulin, and it just shuts all your hormones down. So oral can be problematic in that way. So we like the transdermal because it's physiological. It has a liposome technology. Liposome is an amazing technology, maybe the biggest breakthrough in nutrition in the last century. It wraps the nutrient in phosphatidylserine, which is a naturally occurring fat or lipid in our cell membrane and in the mitochondrial membrane. So when that phosphatidylserine carries that nutrient, the cell membrane recognizes it and pulls it in. So we're able to get more of the nutrients. So we're getting virtually almost all the nutrient or the hormone into the body. It's taken up through the lymphatic system, it's taken through all the receptor sites, goes to your brain, goes to your skin, goes to your bones, and then it's all used up. So when it gets to the bloodstream, there's nothing there to overreact with the liver.
Now, something that I hear more and more with men is erectile dysfunction. And that is a disappointing, discouraging, and difficult thing to deal with. But even that can be dealt with some of the products that you have.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think as men, and we talked about this before, you know, the 80-year-old man took us aside, hey, doc, I got a problem. Can you help me with it? I mean, I think that is just a part of being a man. I mean, that's that we don't feel that we are a man anymore if we can't sexually perform. So psychologically, it's very devastating, and it can have you know, if you've had a relationship for someone 20, 30 years, you've loved, and that's been part of your relationship, it's very hard.
Well, and I'm telling you, sometimes the woman then says, there's something wrong with me in that he can't perform.
Right, because you don't find me attractive anymore.
Right.
So Yeah, we have some products. So the testosterone is we have a couple of things with that. One of the things, that men take is a little blue pill, and then they take Cialis. But that doesn't work all the time. And the problem is it's a nitric oxide stimulator. So nitric oxide is a naturally occurring substance that makes our blood vessels dilate. It's important in our heart health. It's important in our neuropathy patients and their feet. It's important in our brain function. So the problem is they don't have the raw materials to make the nitric oxide. So if we supplement that, then they can make the nitric oxide. Okay, and the nitric oxide is also stimulated by testosterone. So it's a two-way. So the testosterone comes up, but you could have normal testosterone and have no nitric oxide,
right,
or a combination. So we deal with both of those simultaneously.
Balance them out. Wow. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Listen, I'm telling you, if you need an answer, this guy has got the answer for you. Here's his website. Here's his telephone number. Do yourself a favor and call him right now. Let's get you in there and get you back to loving life once more. Don't change the channel. We're going to be right back.